video is not gonna be about the lovely maknae who reminds us of a rabbit. Rather, it will be all about recreating Jungkook at the Lotte Family Concert this year. He was too hot and dangerous in that wet hair. That's why I bought this black curly wig. I hope I had the right idea about it. When you remove the head, use a hairdryer so the connecting part could get a little bit flexible. Then yank it out carefully. Make sure not to break this plastic connector while pulling the head out. To make its forehead higher, I put tweezers into the head and tried to scrape out the remaining hair threaded through the scalp. I was too poor at it, so R helped me with it. Now all the hair threads at the forehead haven't removed. I'm gonna fill these pores later in this video. I began with hairstyling because I thought it would be the core of the Lotte Family look. I put some spray on the wig to tame it first. This Barbie girl has a smaller head, but anyway, I'm gonna put this wig on her and leave it wrapped up overnight. These hair pieces are what fell off while being cut, and I'll put them aside for future use. It looks like Jungkook, but with his chin stung by a bee. I'm pretty sure there's a lot to be ground around his face structure. I marked where to grind with a pencil, and then I ground it until the marks were gone. And I repeated this. While being ground, the surface had gained angular shapes, so I trimmed it using a finer piece of sandpaper. I made basic patterns for these BTS dolls by draping cutting. I'm still not familiar with making doll clothes, so I just followed the steps in this book. I highly recommend this book for those who wanna design their own creative doll fashion. That's not to say that it's easy, but perhaps you can at least learn how to modify ready-made patterns. And this is the other book I referred to. I'm gonna apply this shirt to my design. It's for small dolls of 11 cm tall, and that's the reason the patterns and the methods here are quite simple, which is a good news for beginners. Seeing this page, I'm gonna transform the basic top patterns I just made into a long sleeve shirt. I pasted the traced patterns onto thicker paper for convenient use later. This fabric is satin from which I make a shirt. I copied the patterns on the cloth and cut out all the shapes. I'm not good at machine sewing and instead sewed by hand for the most part. The sleeve openings were narrower than the width of its hand, so I had to detach them first. I'm gonna put this fabric fastener on the front opening and paste buttons as decoration. I fixed the fastener with a nail glue and then sew it onto the shirt. These were the smallest ones I was able to get. I used the nail glue too for the buttons. Finally, it's time to begin the painting. Remove the stock makeup with acetone and sketch with colored pencils. Before moving forward, I decided to close these pores at the forehead with acrylic sealant. I did a test at the back of his head first. Once dried up, the texture felt like gum. I found that sanding it down didn't work very well and only made it messier. So, as an alternative, I found this flexible wood filler, and the test results seemed pretty okay to me with the Barbie girl. Here's how I did. First, squeeze a suitable amount of wood filler, and then pick some beige and light brown pastels and grind them into powder. Mix the filler paste and pastel powder together. You can add drops of water for smoother texture. While the former acrylic sealant felt like chewing gum, the latter wood filler felt like Play-Doh. I gotta say this method can't be complete coverage, but still, this is noticeably better than before. After spraying, add pastels. Do some contouring around its jaw, nose, and eyes, and slight blushing on its cheeks. Now let's move on to color paints. Fill the white of the eyes first, and then paint the pupils brown in a thin coat. At this point, leave the highlight around unpainted. Instead, form a distinctive boundary between the highlight area and the adjacent area by painting dark brown. Make each strand of under eyelashes and eyebrows with a detail brush. I'm trying to be patient while painting and pause for a moment as often as possible to check if it matches its image. I sometimes finish lips only with colored pencils, and when I feel like I should make them look moist, I just use a brush and paint to make gradations in color and depict wrinkles in them more often than anything else. It seems like the facial structure has grown too round while being sanded. So I'm gonna reshape it carefully using a handpiece and then finish the surface with sanding sponges. After spraying, do some contouring again. Slightly blend the black pastel under the outer corners. I think this muscle looks too bulky, so I'll blend a light-brown pastel on it. The last step of lip painting is making black strokes to its eyes so it can just stand out. Perhaps there is no such thing as the last step in lip painting. I found a couple of pores had lost the fillers in them, so I had to do repair work. What it complete today's fashion is this, a little excessive earrings. He's wearing 7 rings in total. Not having silver rings in bigger size, I tried painting these gold rings with a metallic marker pen. They turned out to smear everywhere, so I didn't use them in the end. Now it's time to put this wig on my Jungkook doll. To tame the wig, I wrapped it with foil and heated it. I forgot to film though. There are strands of hair. I attach it around the parting line. Let's dress him up. I ordered this 3-piece suit before I completed a black satin shirt cause I thought it would take too long to make all the 3 pieces. I figured out that the female silicone bodies share many sizes with BTS dolls except the waist. It's not necessary, but I wanted to make its thighs bigger, so I attached some adhesive bandages around them. I mended the waist of pants and finally gave him back his feet and hands. And here we go. Let's put Jungkook on the stage.